Grateful that you're here with us today, Dr. Boz. Please come up. Good afternoon. So, Shannon had specifically requested that I do a poem. And when she asked me to do the poem, I was like, oh, I don't really perform poetry like that anymore, but obviously, I'm never going to say no to anything she asks me to do. I'm never going to say no to anything that I'm asked to do concerning MLK or Shannon. And so I really had to think back about what poem could I do for this type of event. And I thought back to last summer I was at a gathering and this beautiful woman walked up to me. She had sunglasses on, so I didn't recognize her. She came up to me and she said, "Oh my God, you were my whole entire life when I was 14. And I was like, huh? She was like, "You go girls from MLK." And she took off her sunglasses and I recognized her. She was just like, I don't even think you understood what it meant to come there and do field trips with you and dance routines and gather with all the girls. And I was just thinking to myself oh, what a beautiful full circle moment. And then I thought to myself, well, I know how she feels because that's pretty much how I felt about Dora Robinson. And also, it's also a moment where I realized I wouldn't experience that moment had it not been for Dora Robinson. So before I do my poem, I just want to share just a quick little background around that, which is that when I met Miss Dora, she was my adjunct professor at Western New England University, and she was not okay with me working at a gas station at night because I had a 2-year-old. And so in 1999, she was like, you should come find out what we're about and maybe work here. Maybe we can just, get you in as a tutor, maybe a bus driver, a bus monitor for the after-school program. And that's what I started out as, but I stayed and I grew and I learned more about the community because what I discovered in working at MLK was the importance of and the power behind community and collective responsibility. I saw a place where elders and youth were in the same space and there were different roles and everybody worked together. And it's really a place where not only did I find my voice, but I really started to become aligned with my purpose. And I know I'm not unique in that because today in Springfield's community, I see so many educators and community leaders who either worked here or who attended the summer camp or the after-school program. And so they're still creating ripples and waves in our community. And so I just want to say that because of MLK, that I am a ripple who not only is a ripple, but now I'm out here creating waves. And so I want this for the next generation, right? To continue to create waves of change. And I'm also just blessed that every time I go somewhere, it can be anywhere in the city, I'm going to see either a former colleague or I'm going to see a child who was like, "Oh, you were my camp counselor." Or I'm going to see somebody who asked about my son who used to come here with me and ask how he's doing because they remember him even though he doesn't remember them. So it's just such a beautiful place and I'm happy to be home. That's it. So I'm going to share the poem to bring you back to that full circle moment. This poem is just about that commitment to youth because even though Dora was a lifelong mentor for me, I was not always easy to mentor. Once I found my voice, I didn't always use it correctly. So sometimes I had to get called to the office to have conversation or taken out to lunch and sort of guided and directed in some of my choices. And so that's what this piece is about. This is really about that commitment to the young people and to the future. They need you. Even if their eyes roll all the way to the back of their heads when you speak, they hear you. Even if they don't take your advice, they've absorbed it. They see you. You are setting an example with your tone, your dress, and your habits. So even if you don't mutter a word, you are still sending a message. And you have to decide. Will you relay one that destroys or builds, that encourages or defeats, that makes them doubt or inspires them to believe? They are in need. And we cannot fail them. We cannot ignore them. We have to make a conscious choice to understand, to care about all of them, not just the good ones, but all of them. And then we have to do it because they need you.